Hello. So today we are going to talk about heating, how it brings changes. You have seen this, right? Bread turning into a toast, or ice cream melting away, or a balloon puffing up over a warm bottle. They all have something in common, that's heat. Now here when I am drawing fire, fire is not equal to heat. Heat is more of an abstract notion that is majorly felt or observed by fire. So today's big question is, what are the ways in which heat brings changes? Let's find out by exploring what heat really does to material. So let's begin with a pretty common routine thing. You would have seen your used wrinkled clothes. When you iron them, the fabric relaxes and the wrinkles disappear and tada, neat and tidy. This is no process of melting or burning anywhere, just a small change caused by heat, just heat changing the texture of the fabric. Next up, melting. On a hot sunny day, your ice cream turns from solid into a runny mess. That's heat causing melting. But heat doesn't just melt soft things. Take metal for example. When it's heated strongly, even hard metal melts into liquid. This melted metal can now be reshaped into any new tools or parts that can be used in n number of machines or factories. Just so you know, you cannot bring such high temperature just anywhere. It is achieved in furnace under very much controlled condition. Here is a real life photo of a furnace. Already looks dangerous, right? Only trained people get to deal with this. You would have heard the term for people who are in such occupation of dealing with metal. Remember? Yes, it's blacksmith. So coming back to the point, heat can change solid into a liquid and then help us reshape it. Heat also causes something called expansion. You would have seen this pretty common experiment somewhere in your books. Binding the balloon on a bottle and then heating that empty bottle to see that air in the bottle expands, making the balloon puff up. But that's not the only case. When metal is heated, it also expands and it becomes slightly bigger as well. Guess what? That's exactly how thermometer works. Mercury in the thermometer is the liquid metal that reacts to the high temperature or heat of the body, especially when we are sick. This mercury, when expands, it increases in the length in the small tube, which showcases us the exact temperature. Same is with the air. Warm it up in a bottle and it expands, making the balloon on top rise. So heat can make things expand even if we don't always see it with our own eyes. Now, another cool ability of heat. Wait a minute, let me draw this again. You put bread in the toaster. After a few seconds, it just pops out brown, crispy and totally different. Now you might think this as a change in texture, but if you really observe, this is due to drying, or to put it in a scientific term, evaporation. But more common example would be drying the washed clothes in the sunlight. Water from the washed clothes converts to gas due to the heat of sunlight. And hey, that's evaporation, where heat turns water into invisible water vapor. So let's sum this up. Some of the ways heat changes things first can be that it changes the texture, like ironing the clothes. It melts solids like ice cream or even metal. It helps us reshape things like molten metal into new tools. It also causes expansion in air, metal and many more materials. It leads to evaporation or drying, like changing water into vapor. Sometimes these changes stay. Sometimes they can be reversed. But always it's heat that makes the change happen. So next time you see something melt, stretch or puff up or even vanish, ask yourself what in the heat is going on here, because that's where the science begins. Stay curious, Stay observant and keep exploring the heat behind the change. Thank you.